That's something. A ring dinger from the yesterdays. A thingamabob used to pling signal the fire alarm. Let's find out if it still works. Making great progress. You're not bad. Hold on to that. Super effective. One hand after the other. Seems the keys need to be in sequence to make the ring dinger work. Just a few moves left. Make them count. So, the technology from yesterdays is still here today, even if its message is getting old. Go make the most of the day. It's time to do what's right. For certain values of right. It's time to set the rival tribe free. You need to unite the tribes and... That's a fire starter. The dry grass looks like it would ignite easily. You just need to create a spark to light a fire. It burns brighter than the light. That's a flesh wound. This might be the end of everything as we know it. Up for grabs. The battering bonker looks like a great way to get through the gate. Bet you just need to knock and it'll open up? That's bonkers. The Netra tribe values liberty and is striving to protect freedom. They want to continue with each tribe being responsible for their own and believe that uniting tribes is the only way you can survive. He was hoping it wouldn't end this way. There's no reason to fight instead of uniting. It would be fighting over nothing. He'll fight for what matters. Today, he'll fight you. But tomorrow, he hopes to fight by your side. The rival Sifu is defeated, and the destiny of their tribe is in your hands. You are free to choose their fate, but not free from the consequences of your choice. And with that, you're spinning your own fate, good or bad, never to be undone. Step by step, until all have given up their rights for the good of others. He's gotten news that the other tribes have realized there are no winners in this war. There's no purpose in antagonism. All three of them believe your tribe has grown strong enough to unite them. It's clear your efforts have been successful. There's light at the end of the tunnel. So, do you want to end the war now or continue the crusade? He agrees. Better save your energy for something meaningful. The Netra Fortress. Tread carefully here. It's the Netra claw chain. How How majestical.
Durmanıza. Alo amizak öbe.
Let's see.
Andro, monibasa, urasa durut.
Now that the Majut's got a mouthful of bonbon gummy and the brand new sit-tight is in place, the Majut is ready to ride.
Kuri kumbala muma, aria roche nui mumera.
Nocco's been training another fantabulous little critter that'll hopefully become a distraction for the hoof puff when you confront it.
Monibasa.
You'll find Mito at Brightlight. He's a light-headed fellow, but hopefully he'll remember where he stored the moths.
Kamonu, taifanana numa.
She's noticed the front teeth seem to be a little loose, so you might be able to pull them out with the pull hook. Give it a little pat. Go on. This place is called Brightlight. Mito lives close by. With the world getting darker by the day, there's not much time left to save it. And even though you've just met, he feels you're bound to play a huge part in that. Says there's so much darkness to deal with. Rather than curse it, he makes lamps to fight it. You found your way through the darkness. You shine like the sun in the sky, but will you use that power to warm the world or burn it? Hopes you see how much good you can do with power like that, and how easy it is to let it drive you mad. No matter where your path takes you, though, it's important to remember where you came from. The past brightlights the present. Wonders if you know how much of an effect you've had upon the world. Your presence changes things like light changes darkness. Did you realize that when choosing where to shine? Figures that doesn't matter. You can't help but shine either way. So happy you know you're helping brighten the world. There's plenty of it that's still worth saving. Says you did the right thing in taking up with the Myriad. They buy lots of his lamps. That's a tribe that believes in the bright things in the world. Claims he wasn't trying to sell you anything. Now, says he can see by the twinkle in your eyes that you're not here to talk about your allies.
Winking na boom.
He assumes you are here to be enlightened. He can't blame you, as everything just feels dark and hopeless these days.
Pointu toes in katimbo.
There's something about you, like you're knit together. Your fate's connected. What you've said, he feels too. So, why not call him Me Too?
Zai kantum.
He senses you're like the dayfly, living every day like it's your last, afraid that when night comes, it might be proved right.
Taikatapa.
Says it's pronounced that way, but spelt different. But he feels that connection with you.
Joko, desino, tiba.
He reckons you haven't seen a glitter moth, and says it's about time you did. Even though they're nesting near gone grass, they never run out of glow.
Yonko.
Finding yourself a glitter moth would give you that glimmer of hope you need to continue all the way to the end.
Darfa.
Figures you should do it if you want to become as enlightened as him. Don't distract this beastie. It's working. Glad to see some wood scrap there. Scrapalicious. That hurt him. Every day is a new chance to fulfill your destiny. Glittermoth Cave is right here. Wonder what you could make with that. meet...
Tundo pontoja contigo tumbo.
His goal in this dying world is to be like a flame fly, burning to light the way for others, and therefore he still makes lamps.
Munkine diciendo.
You look like you're in need of a special get-through-the-night lamp, but to make something like that, he'd need a flame fly.
Okangun. Tundo pontoja.
Says that's the kind of attitude that spreads light everywhere.
Right. We need something else here. Maybe a little less light?
You'd really root for rain to ruin a day like today.
As long as it ruins your day.
Ha! You can do that just fine without any clouds.
Let's see. That's enough glitter moths to make her plan work.
Beri?
She wants you to stop worrying about the paths you've ridden and focus on the inevitable road ahead, the one that leads to confrontation with the World Eater. The hoof puff is evidence of the duality of evolution, utterly beautiful and grotesque at the same time. She means that the hoof puff has had more time to eat at the root as it's been isolated in the Knoopstonies mountains. So, based on that alone, she reckons it has suffered as much damage as the northwest root that's hidden beneath the surf. Everything in nature is dual, and so is evolution as it struggles to find balance in creation. She wonders what could be more beautiful than imperfection. Let's see. Too bad you don't have working wings. Motor juice station. Guess they filled up motors with go juice here. Flash, slash. Middle lifed. Hurts less now. history is nothing but a series of stories. That sealed the fate of the third World Eater. Just one more to go. Out of Date asked to see you again to congratulate you and let you in on the final phases of his plan. This is your chance to get his priorities aligned with yours. Do right by your tribe and the world at large. Just head back to the Ark. He seemed eager to see you again. She wonders if the rumors she's heard about you finding the Ark are true. Thinks that's impossible, of course, but she also knows you regularly make the impossible happen. Loves this. Any idea who might be joining you on your Arky journeys?
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the Ark should you want...
Why? You don't need anyone else but yourself and me, of course, but I'm a part of you, so that doesn't count.
If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. The only one we'd want to get away quickly from here is darkness.
But you know you can't go on without me. Even if I'm bad company, I complete you.
I think we can finally agree on something. It is better to be alone than in bad company. But best of all is being good company yourself.
Feels deeply honored that you'd want her to come with you. An Ark is no gnote, but she can't pass this up. She's coming aboard. Noko knows she's known for saying things over again. You need to believe how serious this is if you want to have any effect on it. The Yerp Fields, where the echo of your actions resounds clearer than any other place you'll find, except for where that's not true. Even healthier than before. Out of Date says there'll be consequences of the war, but there are more pressing matters at hand. The last World Eater has been left undisturbed with the tree while you focused on the war. He thought someone with your light perspective and key would have had different priorities and faced the World Eaters before resolving the tribe war. Regardless, Out of Date is grateful the tribe war is over. Out of Date understands the road has been rough, but you already know what's left to end this journey, and it'll be tough. You're the only one that's strong enough to face the last World Eater. The future depends on someone with a light perspective to give the world a chance to survive. Only time will tell what the future holds, and if it will bring a lasting peace for those that make it to the end. Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet. He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately, he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest.
Wherefore, Wewe.
He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Wiz.
Momombusu?
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out-of-Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next.
Fofo bakwa papa mo.
Out-of-Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Oloi bo bopaweg.
He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done.
Weta gono koyetu koreboy.
Out-of-Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Weta gono
He's happy to help.
koyetu koreboy.
Seems like your mount likes you well enough. Old brick-bracks like that, sometimes still full of good things. That's a good sign. Small's Mart is a favorite thingamajig broker. Let's see.
ano ya yodo anavadagati.
Let's see. You're still aboard your mount, which is probably a good sign. You've discovered Fanaki leaves, the densest jungle in the land. Better get hacking. the Moly Hole outpost, an old Pichu tribe hole in the wall. Supposedly, mounts like that can smell fear. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. But says it... He set up camp at the foot of the Tree of Life. It's gotten more difficult for it to find defenseless prey, as it's already eaten most of them. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in... He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Oh, yes. That is deliciously dark of you.
No, you need less dark, no more!
Yes, the dark is as easy as cake. Dark, dark cake.
Just spit it out, please! That's awful!
Awfully good, you mean?
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Thinks that kind of diversity brings strength. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go in.
alikan rado nikakumva boteveganan tövlimverai.
He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister.
Inshallah, venture aleke, kindness chu. Non antika urvaya unara.
It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. Better get him. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The power comes from turning the movement of the surf into surge sparks. Sometimes science is beyond belief. Impressed you found that, despite all the goo. This place has held power for a long time. In many ways, it still does. That would require cleaning up all the goo. Glad you found that track. There's a lot to learn about this world, both here and beyond. It's a cold zone. Even a thick coat of fur is enough to keep you warm here. This could be the beginning of the end of everything. This land has never known winter. An old home could be something to it. the hut. Wonder if there's anything still inside. Don't want to point a finger, but the mecha stadium is near here. Personal. Good for whatever ails you. This is turning out to be quite an expedition. Lockety locked. That's not opening on its own. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Such a bright day to wander around in. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick.
Inchola Fenja Aleke, Zum Bath, Galay Arontun.
Well, he means slick, as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny.
Non Antica Uravaya Unara.
He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out.
Ambatia Bomba, Zum Bath, Para.
He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow.
Irovante Vaca. Velir Nila Chale.
Wants you to think of it as a black tar spritzer. The dead zone is full of that slimy black goo. It's good for fuel, but it's also slippy stuff. Much harder to see outside now. That's a putty-upper plaza. Some were actually trying to build something before it all started to end. You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find Choo Choo here.
Pasata Kuntapa.
Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Down the wire. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. Might turn a blade or two. Keeps the sun out of your eyes. You're here for... Choo Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them, and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made.